Welcome back to Disc and Balls, Golf Channel's coverage of the 40th Annual Victoria Open from Victoria, Texas. Today, our card is playing Fox's Bend in Victoria. It's round 2 chase card back 9 action with Sam DiCarlo, GT Hancock, Raven Newsom. It's gonna make me laugh every time, and Fredy Meza. After the front 9, before I get into that, thanks to Golden Crescent Disc Golf Club in Victoria, Mint Discs with their Heart of Texas tour, and One Star Disc Golf, of course, out of Victoria. Commentary is with me, Robert Hinson, and
Christian West.
After the front 9, Raven and Fredy have jumped to the front of the card. GT just one behind them, and Sam kind of a slow start with only 1 under on the front 9. Hole number 10 is 292 feet, mandatory left up here. You're going to see a lot of forehands. The backhand play is okay, but it brings tree and limbs into play where the forehand is more open. And there is OB along that right side once you get past the mandatory. Not a difficult hole, but it's a little technical.
This is definitely one you're going to want to get.
Absolutely. And Sam does not. That little wall of bushes over to the left of the basket really makes it hard to get even to the basket from over there. So Fredy very surprised at his forehand turning over. And GT also going forehand. That's a fantastic skip up to the basket. Same with the forehand here. This is not what I would go with.
Interesting choice.
Yeah, it does stall out, and it's flirting with the OB, but does stay in. Fredy with the jumper from 80-something, and probably more. It doesn't look like we caught Raven's drive. I blame the T-pad cameraman for that.
So do I.
Wave concurrence. Oh, great putt. Just off the band. I mean, it's in a headwind. Those trees back there do kind of block some of it, but it's enough to lift a putter. GT sneaks it in. Yeah. Sam, after very fortunately staying inbounds there. I think this skip would have been the play, but guess what? He's got a par putt, so that's really all that matters. Yeah, nicely done. Fredy also with a par putt. Very routine for him. And Raven not going to miss that. What used to be hole 2 is now hole 11. I almost called it hole 2. But it's a par 4, 539 feet, not very hard. Probably one you should get on MPO. I mean, even advanced, or MA1 now. This area right here with all the little brickwork is hazard, so it will cost you a stroke if you land in there. But even if you have the low ceiling off the tee, you should still be under 250 with your approach, so very gettable. A bit of a bohemian camera angle here. Didn't bother to follow the disc. And it's fine. We got the flight. And that's actually in great position. Raven smoking it. A little more turn than GT.
Both placed nice and in the middle of the fairway there, though.
Yeah, that's going to be putter approach for both.
Go farther.
Sam wants a little more out of that, but that's still fine. That's still a solid 340-foot drive or so. And then Fredy, yeah. Fredy with this green guy.
Oh boy.
It seems to be his long bomber.
And long bomb he does.
Into the stuff on the right. Turned over a bit on him.
I did not, yeah.
And yeah, right is the worst place to be on this hole. We found like someone's disc from 3 years ago in there.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a relic.
Yeah. It's like a brand new, what was it? Brand new Hades. It's barely thrown. That is a rip from a knee there.
Grab the ground.
But it skips pretty dramatically.
And he unfortunately does not roll back in.
That's pretty brutal. And that's not something you expect to happen from a knee and 400 feet or whatever he was at. Sam here. Manages to just sneak through the hazard. So he'll have a birdie putt from there. You can stand in the hazard. It isn't like OB. Raven with a nice little forehand here. It looked deeper from his angle, but that's perfect weight. GT. Actually landed it in front of the hazard
It
and
was a
still
little
skipped
fast
through.
out of the hand, so I knew there was no chance it was sticking in there.
That's pretty wild. So this is Freddie's fourth now.
And you don't want to see that.
No, not on a putt. That's just crazy unfortunate. And with that right to left wind, I mean, expose that putt, and bad things happen.
You can see just how close Sam got right there.
Yeah, it's probably, not more than 20. Probably closer to 18.
I was talking about how close he was to landing in that hazard.
Oh, yeah, no, that's a very good point, too.
Half of his foot is in it, and the other half is out.
Yeah. Raven from not missing distance. Very easy there. GT couldn't quite drop it in. Had to take a little back. All right, number 3 is tricky. This little gap here off the tee pad will get you, and then it's low ceiling almost the whole way. There's less foliage now than in the drone fly through, but it's still a rip, especially with the wind in play. This one goes right along the river, so less trees to break that. GT with some dance moves to coax the disc into play.
And it worked.
Yeah, I need to try that. Oh, little noise there gets Raven. Maybe. Oh, it's probably that leaf's fault. Little bit high, and that's why it catches that ceiling.
And that was on line to end up pretty good.
Yeah. I think this is a Mustang out of Fredy. He has kind of this purple Mustang with a different color, but
Got a backdoor look at it.
yeah.
Might have to lean out a little bit.
Yeah, that's not the worst position on this hole. I mean, Raven, definitely worse position. I was in even worse position than Raven when I played. He doesn't like it, but I think it's fine. I think it's right up there by GT. Sam, this is definitely in range. Outside circle, I think.
Barely tickling chains on that one.
Yeah, I think he was expecting a little more either lift or hyzer from the wind. Fredy from a knee, with his spin putt, he's probably the best person for this putt. Still challenging. Almost makes it look easy.
Yeah, that was too easy.
GT. Best drive of the group. And he does make the most of it. That is Raven's disc right in front of him, so. Raven getting a good wind read. There should be no reason for him to miss this. Ah, there we go.
Nice and automatic.
And Sam for his par. Very nice. Kind of a nose down putt. I mean, in the wind, it makes it a little bit easy. Mando left here, par 4. Number 13 is 635 feet. Once you get around here, a lot of people will throw a forehand, right-handed out over the road. There is a line out to the right. You see it sometimes, but because of the ceiling, it makes it a little more technical. So the drone is taking the forehand line and also not clipping this dude who's walking by. The green is pretty accessible. There is the OB on the left side, but usually that doesn't come into play. Usually. Right to left wind, it can definitely play a factor. GT, that looks... Yeah, that's crushed. That is such a good position. Fredy, I liked the angle out of his hand. Oh yeah, he gets a little more glide and ride compared to GT's. Very nice.
Alright. That was scary.
It's like, go in the tree. It's like...
Those trees on the right used to be OB. They've pushed the OB back to along the cliff's edge because that is the Guadalupe River down there. So where it used to be, if you hit those trees, you were, OB. Now you can potentially clip them and still be okay. Raven, I think this is that photon again, and he crushes it again. It's like a go-to. I wonder what it'd be like to have a go-to driver. Just so windy here in Corpus. Sam a little bit wide and low. And I think it's in those trees. Yeah. So fortunately, like I said, that little cutout, that wasn't all trimmed before. That was all high grass. And it was usually OB, but he actually has a play from here, which is pretty wild.
Yeah, that could have been a lot worse. That was a pretty forgiving position considering where he landed.
Yep. Fredy with that Bobcat. Very overstable mid. And might have caught some cage there.
And yet another Fredy Meza basket flash. That's 3 for this round alone.
Fredy's out of control. Someone needs to stop that guy. He just signed with Lone Star and like made an ace like 2 days later. What a shot there from Raven. Yeah. There's that forehand flex again.
There
Raven.
it is.
Raven's
knows how to
tearing
work
it
that
up.
one in.
Yeah. GT trying to do the same. Looked beefy out of his hand. It did not want to hold that any angle. But that's a downwind putt, so not too bad a position to be in. Sam has to straddle out because of the angle of those trees, which is one of the frustrating things about this hole. What about this course even? And I kind of have no idea where that went. It's closer than Fredy though. Apparently. What a birdie.
Wow.
Oh, there he is. This is definitely inside a circle. And
Narrowly misses his par save.
yeah, so he was a little wide right on the last hole, a little wide left on this one. Kind of a disappointing bogey.
Yeah, especially how much work he put into getting up there for that par save. Would have been nice to get that one.
Great putt there from GT. He's now 3 for 3. Or no, 4. 4 for 4 on the back nine. That's crazy. Hole number 14 is 360 feet. It's probably the second toughest as far as two birdie compared to, what is it, hole 7. But yeah, low ceiling the whole way. This little log will keep you from skipping up and being happy with your life. And just a tricky, very technical line. There are some weird flex lines. There are some turnover lines. But none of them are great, and all of them require a bit of a pump through a low ceiling. GT, trees right off the bat. I know that feeling, and it's miserable.
Painful.
Fredy, going with the backhand. And that flexed out beautifully.
Oh yeah, that was great.
Raven with the forehand. I think it's that photon again.
With another flex forehand.
I don't think he got this low enough though.
Uh-oh.
Sam. That green guy seems a bit flippy for his forehand, which is good if you want distance and low ceiling, which is what this hole calls for. He likes it. Raven will call for anything to go in, I'm convinced. That one was a great shot. That
was an incredible shot.
Probably about to, 12 feet, 13 feet? 11 apparently, according to my notes.
This is surprisingly difficult.
I was gonna say, you're not gonna like that.
So Raven mentioned that he was getting worked by his card with that, saying you weren't going to like it. But it seemed like casual conversation, not like he was trying to bamboozle anyone.
I don't think so.
Oh, skip. I mean,
Just
you did
some
a little
casual
bit.
card chat.
Yeah, exactly. Fredy just outside circle with that blast of a backhand. I wonder what disc he threw, because with that kind of tailwind, would need to be flippy. Unfortunately, a little low on the putt. Raven to save par, inside circle. Just a touch right. I think that's his first bogey of the day.
No, that was a nice birdie.
Yeah, fantastic birdie from Sam there. Raven for his bogey. He just gotten to 10 under. I hadn't really been checking the scores, but good progress. GT keeps the par, very solid. Hole number 15 is another must get. It's only 246 feet. It's almost always going to be just a little forehand with like a mid-range or driver. With the right to left wind, you can get a little more squirrely with it because the wind will keep it out to the left. And it's just not a difficult hole. And yet, I haven't parred it my last 3 or 4 times playing. So let's see how the card does. Sam here up first. Stand still, that's kind of surprising. Angle's good.
I'd be happy about that.
Yeah, skipped a touch long, but still a very reasonable putt. GT also going forehand. I really think the forehand is the play here. Kind of short. It got some weird ground action too. It like skipped, but then like back spun. And then Fredy, he's got 2 discs here. And I don't know what that white one is, but it doesn't matter because he's going with the Bobcat. Which, I love the Bobcat. It's such a good disc. And that's a good line.
Nice and lofty, right up to it.
Beautiful. It does not get much better than that. And this is that overstable one from Raven. Overstable approach, I think. Maybe a mid, but...
Oh, shoot.
Nice
Okay.
little kiss on the basket.
Yeah.
So close.
I said it doesn't get much better than that, but...
It immediately
Raven-
did.
Yeah. And actually, the way that flared, that actually got held up by the wind. It was flaring toward the basket and just kind of stalled. GT here. I think he was just outside circle. But stays low. Maybe it doesn't get the lift he was expecting in the wind. Sam for birdie. Not great. He's up again, unfortunately. Oh, and it's in his head.
Yeah.
You know what's good though is like if you're not comfortable before a shot, he actually does have the wherewithal to step off and then regain himself, which is it's important for ball golf. It's important for disc golf.
And
And-
that's why.
Yeah, exactly. Reset, get yourself comfortable. Like being able to step off is super key. If something feels wrong, reset.
Yeah, a lot of disc golfers will feel pressure to just go up there and continue on. It takes a lot of restraint to pull away and then step back up to it.
The right distance. Not all take.
Hole number 16, 647 feet. It's a par 4. You're going to see most people throwing their first shot out to, maybe not for MPO, but about right here is a good landing area. Put you about 300 out. There is a Mando left over on the right side there. OB left in the parking lot and past the pylons. And the OB is in the circle, probably about 18 to 22 feet, depending on where you're at. Fredy looks like he's going with his long bombing green guy. And it hits that big tree there. Raven. I'm pretty sure it's that photon again. And he hits the second tree.
That one was gunning for you.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know which side of the tree this is going to. Well, it hit dead center, so.
Safe bet is behind it.
Exactly. Sam going with forehand also.
Oh my god, why is it not like that?
And
There's
that tree hit again.
There's half the card now being guarded solely by that one tree. GT lining up a backhand. He called it. That was noticeably before it struck. All right, so from 420 feet, this is a big ask on a forehand. And he gets the disc to flip up a bit. That's really well executed. He's probably still about 50 or 60 short, but to put it out over the road, like,
Yeah, he's around the Mando also.
yes,
That's always great.
That is true. The Mando doesn't typically come into play too much.
It shouldn't.
Yeah. It's like a lot of people will opt for the forehand because it opens up the ceiling. Freddy's turns over a little.
And his actually misses that Mando. Or did it go out of bounds?
It was Miss Mando. I didn't have an overlay for Miss Mando,
Oh,
but
gotcha.
even Freddy's laughing because he plays a lot of tournaments in Victoria, and he knows that that Mando should almost never be in play. And Raven bombing one out over the street. Needs to come back though. Oh, and it does. Pretty all right. GT eyeing up that same line. Pulled it a little maybe.
And that one does not make it back.
Yeah, it's pretty unfortunate because if you hit the road there, that you get a lot of flare skips, and some people play that pretty frequently. So the fact that it caught the grass and just went nowhere is,
Very surprising.
yeah, surprising and unfortunate. Good upshot there though.
Great correction.
Fredy from the drop zone. I was shocked at two things here: that he jump putted it from there, and that he got it there.
Get it.
Sam, a bit of a roll away. Good effort from that distance. And Raven must be outside circle. And he drains it. Sam for his comebacker. Beautifully done. That's one way to not let the rollaway get you. Fredy leaves it just a bit low.
Just a tad.
Yep. Unfortunate double there for GT. Man, he was really doing pretty solid.
It's on a roll.
Yeah. Hole 17, 327 feet. Kind of a low ceiling at the beginning. The tricky part of this hole, though, is the green. The slope down to the left will let anything feed OB. You kind of want to end up right at the basket, but today you're putting downwind, which is good unless you miss the basket entirely, and then it brings OB into play. If you do have to miss left off the tee, it's best to be pin high, so you have about a 18 to 20 footer for par. And
that is not going to be an easy putt.
no. However, it was a fantastic flex forehand. I wasn't expecting many forehands from this card here. Although Sam's going with a Draco, which is very overstable. Could bring the skip into play. And I think it got eaten by that clover. There's like a lot of clover on the course, and the disc just didn't go anywhere when it hit the ground.
That provides no skip.
This is a Mustang out of Fredy. We have no idea where it went. It's short. And I think this is a mid-range from GT. And on the left side of the screen, you can barely see the disc get up near the basket somewhere. And then we missed GT's upshot somehow. So I blame Isaac. Fredy for birdie. I think he might have been expecting lift there. It was a bit right to left, but look at those flags in the background. Could be a little tail, which is going to push it down instead of let it fly.
Yeah, it looks like he was expecting the same thing.
Yeah, kind of almost a half-hearted look at it. Raven just a little low.
Yeah, that OB behind him could potentially have gotten in his head a little bit.
Yeah, it's easy to just like look through the basket and just see just road and water and tragedy.
Yeah, that OB's no more than what 10, 12, maybe 15 feet back there, and
Yeah,
it's definitely in play from where he was putting from.
absolutely. Hole 18, 609 feet. Double Mando right
Wacky.
off the bat. Yeah, it will potentially ruin your day. I was expecting players to be maybe conservative, put a little forehand up to about here or so, and then you have a nice little, like a low ceiling, but you could play it under the trees and skip it up, land it about here. So two 300-foot shots is all you really need to make birdie here. And you can see it's not entirely how it went down.
No fear.
Just rips it through there. Backhand, no forehand.
That might be OB.
So that actually hit like a potable water sign.
That saved him from going OB way long.
Yeah, he was about to nuke it past the basket.
Dude, he like erased that disc.
Dung. I had to leave that in. Like, it was great great commentary. Here's that kind of flippy green guy from Sam, and the angle looks good. This is more along the lines of what I expected. Just get a forehand out here. That is a great forehand. That's fantastic distance there, and leaves him wide open for the approach. Fredy also backhanding a bomb.
That's
Yep.
great. That should leave him a nice upshot for his second shot.
Yeah. I don't think I wrote it down, but I think this was a D2 from GT, which is, I think, similar numbers to a strike. Maybe a little slightly more stable.
Oh, about time you throw the disc.
He liked it right off the bat, and that is
Time you throw the
hammered.
I know I'd like that.
Yeah. See, Sam's forehand got him to 273. That's a really good spot. Personally, I think that I'd be happy with that pretty much every time. And that's fantastically executed. That's the sign that saved Raven right there behind him. Forehand looking good. Yep. Little more than he wanted from that distance. I mean, he was only like 250 out. Fredy with a standstill. That's pretty nice. And he leaves that even shorter than Raven, which is crazy unfortunate. GT with only 198 though. This is right where he wants to be.
Oh yeah.
A touch short maybe, but not the worst. I think I had him at about 22 feet for that putt. Fredy, significantly farther. Oh no.
You gotta respect him leaving it out there on the course, though.
Yeah,
He's
I mean,
going for it.
if he hits any metal there, oh, Raven. So there's some boomers out on the right side just talking to each other. Might have gotten in his head there. Yep, the Raven stare down. The thing is, like, it's completely oblivious. They have no idea. This is a nice day at the park. And I think those same guys here. Slam the car door. It's just a little bit of distraction there for GT. No.
Not what you want to see.
No, that's again, if you hit any metal, it's probably going to be safe.
Yeah, with Fredy and GT, the way they played this hole so well, you would have liked to see them go ahead and finish it out with the birdie, but, you know, Fredy limits his damage to a bogey.
Yep. GT for his bogey. That's brutal. Sam, though, perfect position. I mean, you can't really ask, especially in the wind, downhill putt to an elevated basket, and you're 13 feet tall, so it's...
Yeah,
it's
elevated basket to some.
Yeah, right. Pretty nice for Sam. GT, very unfortunate double there. And that about finishes it up. Round 2, Raven Newsom jumping out to -11. That'll get him to the lead card on day 3. Unfortunately, Sam DiCarlo a little bit slower with GT. Fredy getting bamboozled a little bit by the bogey at the end. But round 3 coverage coming up soon. Eventually Trail Candy. Oh yeah, here's how it shaped out after round 2. Keenan Ford jumping into a tie with Mason Ford.
Very impressive.
Yes, and then Raven Newsom again. Our round 3 coverage will be Thunder Schultz, Henry Bente, or no, it won't, sorry. Henry Bente, Chanley Kramer, Charlie Moore, and Connor O'Reilly. Thank you for watching. Stay tuned for round 3. As always, thank you for watching, and hopefully we see you on the course.
I've learned to just keep it rolling, man, because I've missed a couple already.